det hørte du Jake Bugg live her i NRK. Jake har satt seg ned sammen med meg. Welcome back to Norway.
Thank you.
Now you just played the title track of your upcoming album, On My One, which I understand is the Nottingham way of saying on my own.
Pretty much.
And I also understand this is quite descriptive of how you've done this new record mainly on your own. Why did you choose to do it that way?
It's just I felt it was something I had to do for myself. It's not like I was trying to prove a point or anything like that. If anything, I was trying to prove a point to myself, just to tell myself I could do it and capable of doing it. And it gave me the opportunity to experiment and try things out and just do something different.
What was the most challenging part about doing it that way?
I guess the most challenging part was not having somebody to bounce ideas off of all the time, which was good when I was co-writing on the previous two albums. There was someone there to, you could come up with 10 ideas and they'll tell you the best one.
So are you good at trusting your instincts, or do you become insecure when like you say, you have nobody else to sort of bounce your ideas with?
I kind of go with my instincts, and also sometimes I'll play it to my friends. They're not maybe the most musical people, but they're the kind of people that are going to be listening to the radio in their cars. So I kind of base it on an average. If 9 out of 10 people say it's okay, then it must be okay. So.
So in what way is this one different from your previous two records?
I think there's elements in this album that weren't in the previous two. There's like a bit of dance, hip hop, and some soul elements in this record. Whereas I guess the previous two albums were more country folk based.
And does that mean you've also been listening to more soul and hip hop in this process?
Yeah, I've been listening to quite a few different things. There's a couple of guys from the 70s. A guy called Leroy Hudson had a good album, William DeVaughn, and a band called War, who I really like as well.
We asked you to bring a song that has inspired you in the process of this record, and you chose a song by War that you just mentioned. Now, what is it about this one that you find inspiring?
Well, what I like about this band, they just had so many cool grooves, and the songs also are pretty cool. And I felt that's something I was missing of my albums, was something that moved around a little bit and something that grooved a little bit.
Jake, I thought we could go a little bit back in time to around that period where you started making music yourself. Now, did you grow up in a very musical home?
My mum listened to different types of music, yeah. A lot of it I didn't like, to be honest. But then I also had my cousin who's in a band, and his father was in a band, so music was kind of in our family, to be fair.
Now, what kind of a kid were you growing up in Nottingham?
I don't know. I was kind of I kind of floated around in between groups. I kind of said hello to everybody. I didn't really stick to one group of friends, which is why I kind of like all kinds of music. I could go hang out with a few that listen to the heavier stuff, and then the people that listen to the hip hop and the grime, and just whoever really.
And what kind of music were you listening to at the time when you started making your own?
I was listening to a lot of blues music at the time, a lot of folk, like stuff. I'm a big fan of Jimi Hendrix and Neil Young, but one of the bands that I learned a lot from, like guitar wise, because I had like one of the chord books, was probably Green Day, which I learned a lot of guitaring from them, and good band live as well. So they're pretty cool.
So what made you pick up the guitar yourself? Was it one lying around in the house, or?
No, my uncle brought one round when I was about 12 years old. I'd just come back from football training, because that's what I was into at the time, and I just started learning a couple chords, and I just kind of fell in love with it there and then, kind of forgot about playing football and more about playing the music.
So were you good at football? Was there a big loss to the football community when you quit?
I don't know. I did probably not, but I used to play at like county level, so I don't know. I still try and play now. I enjoy it.
And writing songs, did it come easily to you?
Well, I think now it still differs whether it comes easy or not. Sometimes it can take 5 minutes, and sometimes it can take 5 months to write a song. It all depends how you're feeling and what state of mind you're in, I guess.
And you said you were drifting sort of between the different groups at school. Did your sense of clothing or the way you dressed also differ? Or were you just looking the same all the time?
Yeah. I think I'm a big fan of my tracksuit, so I used to wear a tracksuit, and then I'd go play in a bar and play some folk music, and I think people were a little bit confused by that. So
So you picked out the song that inspired you in that period, and of course it was Green Day, Walking Contradiction. What was it about this one?
I just I just like the lyrics. It's just I think everybody contradicts himself from time to time. So I just thought it was a pretty funny song and a very fun one to play on the guitar, and it's pretty cool.
Like I mentioned to you while listening to this that I saw you live in Oslo 3 years ago, and I really, really enjoyed your show, especially the fact that you changed from like having an entire band on stage and walking around and being very like entertainery, and then just slowing it all down and being all by yourself just with the guitar. Now, what are you going to do on this upcoming tour? Because I mean, the album is called On My One. Is this going to be like an acoustic, all Jake Bugg show?
No, 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 not at all. But me and my band, we feel as one, so we'll go with that. But no, no. I might do a couple of acoustic songs on some of the shows we've been doing recently. We've been like kind of building and building, like in terms of tempo. Starting off with some of the slower, more acoustic songs, and then the second half of the set's kind of a bit more of a rock and roll show, which is with the more faster songs, which is fun, and people. That's when the beers start coming out, and people start enjoying themselves. So it's fun to do it like that as well.
Being on stage, entertaining people, does that come very naturally to you?
Well, I think people would maybe say I'm not much of an entertainer. I just kind of stand in a static position and don't say anything, but I just play the music. But I just play the songs, which is what I've always done. So I guess it's just the most natural way for me to do it.
Yeah. Now, I wanted to ask you about the best show that you've seen yourself, and it turns out you haven't been to that many concerts.
No, I haven't been to that many. I didn't really get to go to many when I was younger, and now I have time. I mean, now I can go. It's I don't really have the time to do it, so I just have to catch people when I can.
But you mentioned that you did experience a very special show a couple of years ago with the Stone Roses.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool show. It was back in 2012 when I supported the Stone Roses. Just acoustically, and then I got the opportunity to see them afterwards in the like 500 capacity venue, which is was pretty special. Ian's voice sounded great. The guitar playing was phenomenal, and it was just a great show.
Are you going to see them live this summer?
I probably won't decide to go again just because I saw them play that show and it was very special. But they at that show they weren't really. I don't think they were going to go on. I think they had a I think Manny was saying to someone. I just remember him coming in and saying, "Do you know what your name is? Buzz Killington. That's your name." I think there was a little bit of an argument going on, but they went on in the end. It was a great show, so maybe they should argue more. I don't know.
Beste konserten Jake Bugg har sett. Nå har Jake Bugg satt seg klar med gitaren igjen. Vi skal få servert en låt fra den kommende plata. Dette her er The Love We're Hoping For, live her i Siri & Co. Blackened her face and she could not breathe, 'cause she felt scared, couldn't help but stare out the window, even though she never went outside. She wouldn't answer the door, curtains were drawn and the house was cold. Children were old and they did not care. That's what she thought when they tried to help her. She wouldn't answer the door. And the love we're hoping for is dying, just like this city that we're all in. As time went on, she thought she belonged in trapped domain drove her insane. The men she loved over the years, they would only use her, they would only use her. 'Cause the love we're hoping for is dying, just like this city that we're all in. When the morning was clear, blackened her face, and she could not breathe, 'cause she felt scared, couldn't help but stare out the window, even though she never went outside. And the love we're hoping for is dying, just like this city that we're all in. And the love we're hoping for is dying, just like this city that we're all in.